أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all our respected viewers. And this is your host, Sakina Habib, once again on Youth Matters. Thank you so much for tuning in on today's program. Today's topic is a very, you can say, controversial one, but at the same time, a very important one because when we talk about single parenting, and especially when we talk about someone's journey through single parenting, uh, we tend to focus on the negative aspects, usually forgetting the challenges and the sacrifices that are made by that specific parent. And again, the question arises that does this even affect their emotional well being? Does it affect their relationship with their child if they have? And also, when blending into new relationships, be it your friend circle or your family circle or the new relationship that now you are looking forward to get into, what kind of an influence does this play in your life, and what are the consequences that take place, and how does it overall impact your life? So on today's program, I'll be joined by our very dear sister Alia Jamal, who will be sharing her experience on the society's attitude towards single parenting, and of course she will be connecting it to her own personal journey, reflecting on some points and a lot more that we will be bringing on today's program. So without much further ado, I would like to welcome our guest, Sister Alia Jamal, on board. Hello,
Assalamu
Assalamu
alaikum,
alaikum.
Sakina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's an absolute pleasure, Alia. And of course, this is not a new show to you. You've been here before as well. And I've had the privilege to, have such amazing conversations with you before as well on a couple of platforms. So, Alia, first of all, hats off to you, for being interested and willing to actually talk on a topic as such. I believe that people's mentality and their perceptions and thoughts on a topic as such can have a variation when it comes to their thinking overall, as well as when we talk about how the society picks up this topic, right? So before we connect more into this topic, and we will be diving more deeper into this, I want to start off with, how do you perceive society's attitudes towards single parents? And do you feel supported or judged?
So when it comes to single parenting, I think this is across all cultures. It's not a good thing. We as a human race, I think we want things to be perfect. When there is a marriage, we want it to stay intact no matter what. But there are situations, and that based on individual experiences, where it's better for our family to be in two separate households than stay in one. So that is what single parenting is, and it's never looked with a good eye. There's two challenges that come across. One is the emotional toll that no one will ever understand unless they are a single parent. And the second is you do get all the pity and the sympathy and the judgment
Yeah.
without any understanding. So it's like,
Okay.
even your own people close to you, they're like, oh, yeah, like, we are here for you, but you did it to yourself. So
What a
you made
sad.
this decision. So like, deal with it without understanding that whatever decision we make, there's always some foundation, whether it makes sense to the other person or not. And only a person who has gone through that experience can understand. It's just one of those things in human experience.
No, I feel like when you'd actually put yourself in the other person's shoe, is when you realize what they're actually going through. And of course, that is almost impossible because, everybody has their own unique journeys. Of course, we can't deny that. But we never know what the person who is actually in front of us is, going through. We can try to, empathize with them. We can try to be affectionate as much as possible. We can try to visualize, but to go through that stage is definitely very challenging. So when it comes to yes, yes, Adia, please go on.
I was going to say it's just like, we both have kids. So imagine life before having kids and life after having kids. Once you go through pregnancy, you just look at a parenthood very different. We have more respect for our mom, especially because we have gone through it. So it's the same thing. Unless you walk through the path, you have no idea.
Absolutely, you're so right. It's so true. I think our identity completely shifts and changes after we become parents. And once again, like if I would also look back before I became a mom, I was a completely different person. I wasn't very responsible, probably, and life was all about fun. Like just going out, hanging out, and like I don't know, just there were very less responsibilities. But I think like after you become a parent, automatically your life sort of, has this organization. Like your life, just becomes on this autopilot mode now that okay, this is expected from me. You become more alert. You become more aware about your environment, about what's happening, at every minute of the day. What's your child doing? You're worried like for someone else now. So it's not just about you. Earlier on it was like you were existing for yourself, but now there's this other person who's depending on you, and you become very conscious about that person. So I guess that's where the change comes in as well. Now, okay, moving back to single parenting journey, do you think that one's emotional state as a single parent affects their child's emotional well being as well? Because, of course, the parent goes through this journey, but I think somewhere in between, especially in those relationships where there are kids involved, right? I think it makes an even bigger difference because now you need to think about what your child is going through. How are they picking things up now? How are they visualizing the world around them, and their relationship with you now being as a single person? So what is your view on this? What would you say?
I would say 100% it gets impacted. And whether you're a single parent or you are, a parent living with an intact unit, it does impact. The challenge that come with single parenting or going through divorce is a lot of people, they don't even get emotional help for themselves. And they just assume their kids, because they are kids, that they don't need any help. But if we look at it, a divorce is a kind of death. So just how there's like, different stages of grieving, there's like, the mourning period, then there's the anger period, then there's a realization, acceptance period. The child is going through that. And both parents are going through that. Even let's say, if we want to say one parent was the cause for the marriage breakage, even that parent is going through that. So having that compassion for ourselves, for the other parent, for the child, and creating a lot of space for everyone
Yeah.
involved is very, very helpful. But definitely highly recommend getting some kind of support to go through that journey, because our emotions are everything. If we are emotionally feeling down, the kids' grades starts to get impacted in school. A lot of the thing that I have seen, like, personally, I stepped into that behavior, and I have seen other people go into that behavior too. And then I caught myself, and I received like very high level of help, you can say. Um,
Yeah.
we just want things to stay the same. We pretend
Right.
that, we are going to stay the same even after such a big loss. So we want life to stay the same, but it's not. So
Right.
pausing and reevaluating our expectations. Um, I would say till today, my expectations of myself are very different. My son gets late to school. many mornings, and I'm not so gung ho about it that no, we need to have a structure. It's just creating a lot of space that it's okay. It's okay is my favorite, two-word sentence at this point.
Yeah,
No matter what
definitely.
happened, and talking to kids a lot is very important, but we also have to talk to ourselves too, or go talk to someone else. If
Right,
we can provide safe space for kids when the
right.
things are happening, they won't have to go for therapy for, like, a decade when they are 30 or 40-year old, because this trauma
Absolutely, yeah.
stays within them.
True. Yeah. I guess, it's not visible to us, right? Like, I mean, who thinks about this? When I sometimes read some articles or, go through a couple of news stories that, this child after like 20, 30 years is acting in such a way because of the parents' divorce that took place, several years back. So it's very striking and fascinating, as you said, like, children are seeking, like now becoming adults, are seeking for therapy now, which is, of course, quite heartbreaking. So definitely the journey can be very, hurtful and resentful for the child as well. But as you said, like, I think, that is where I feel like if it's a mother or a father, whoever is, with the child at that point, should take the lead of not letting their child fall into that trap of, the stigmatizing trauma, the feeling of feeling, pity for themselves, the feeling of being isolated and left out and all that. I think that is where the mother or the father have to basically fill in that gap, right, for some time, where the child can at least mature and understand that what's happened has happened for a reason. Because, the reason for divorce sometimes can be very complicated, right? We don't know, like, why did the divorce take place. It could be the husband's fault, it could be the wife's fault, it could be because of the clash of the mindsets, the thinking was probably not clicking, the attitudes were not matching, the behavior in the house, so many reasons, right? um but then when you blame yourself, like, for that, does it happen, like, you tend to blame yourself, like, I wish I had made the right decision before I got this divorce. Like, why did I marry this person? Why did I have this
Oh,
person
100.
in this relationship, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. There is guilt. There is
Yeah,
shame. Just like any other human experience, there's always guilt and shame. That is how we get manipulated. But I think
right,
what it requires is self awareness, being aware that this is what I'm feeling and it's okay to feel it. And also, I can get some help to navigate these feelings. Once I have that awareness, I have that awareness for everybody else. So when I went through
right,
my divorce, it was such a compassionate divorce. Like, if I can ever sit down and tell you the story, it was such a compassionate divorce. That's why we still have a respectful relationship, because I didn't make anybody wrong, even though I was the one who made the decision. To my son, understand, it's not that mommy's wrong or daddy's wrong. Sometimes that's just how things go, but that doesn't mean that that is what he will go through. So it's a
exactly.
lot of awareness, it's a lot of conversations, and it is very difficult to talk about those things. It's easy to just stay quiet and ignore that we just went through this big loss. So a lot of parents go into that, they put themselves into going back to school, getting a second job, or doing a job where they can just escape the reality, and the kid is just like, okay, where do I go, who do I ask these questions? So escaping is a common behavior when we are going through a grief and loss, but if we can just pause and we can face it, the family can stay in such a healthy emotional state. Then once we
Yeah,
then not acknowledging it.
absolutely. I think those are the right steps that one should take. Very well said. Now, let's talk about, introducing a new partner to your child. So, of course, like, single parenting journey doesn't last for everybody. Of course, people want to move on in life. You want to form a relationship with a new partner in your life, for your kids, for your own self. You need that companionship in your life. So how do you approach introducing a new partner to your child, and what are some of the challenges that one faces during this process, Alia?
I would say again, talk to your kids, because I know some people, they'll just like, be dating and they never tell anything to the child. And one day they just show up with this person and the child goes in shock and they reject. But when we make it normal, that it's part of a normal human experience, that, if it didn't work out here, I'm not going to go into the retirement mode. I am choosing to live. I'm choosing to experience life, because a relationship is choosing to experience life and choosing to grow. With every
Very true.
relationship, we grow. So I had those conversations with my son all along. So I was single for almost a little over 4 years. Whenever I'll be meeting somebody, I would tell my son who the person is, with like, kind of like sharing the whole dating profile of that person. This is where they live. This is how many kids they have. And I would say at the same time, this doesn't mean that I'm getting married to this person. I am just meeting with this person, just going to have a conversation. So, because, when we are hiding things, our kids can feel that energy and they
Right,
cannot put a finger on it. So then they act on that energy. They feel unsafe. So I kept
right,
things energetically very clear, had a conversation with him. And then, after few days it doesn't go anywhere, then he'll ask me again, mommy, what happened to that? And I'll be like, oh, that's how adults are. They meet with each other, they don't click, and to the next person. So it became very normal for him that this is something we go through as an adult, and
right,
we can choose to go through it. And it's actually good for us to keep growing, and also good for our family. So by the
right,
time I did meet my husband, um, he was so relaxed. He was so open to meet with someone. He was actually
right.
very excited to meet with someone. So he was the only person I introduced him to after
Okay.
like all the boxes checked in my world, and they clicked right away. No matter how much the kid loves the person, there's always going to be a piece of rejection. So, we again created that space. It's so can get angry with me. He can, reject his stepdad. It's okay. But the solution is to keep talking to the child and not taking things personally, and giving them
Right.
space to experience something so different that they're not used to.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I mean, what a beautiful journey. Have you, gone into now, and you've mastered along with your son. So that's really good. Now, in what ways does being a single parent, then perhaps getting remarried, impact on one's social life and relationships with friends or family? So I think what I'm trying to ask over here is, like your friendship circles change from that single parenting category to now back to getting remarried, and now you have this new partner in your life. So there's that shift again, first from being a divorcee, then to becoming a single parent, now getting remarried. So take us through that journey and tell us what are some of the challenges, some of the emotional things that one goes through.
So I would say be ready to lose everybody. That is how the journey has been. So once I went through divorce, lost all my friends. Even the ones who were close to me, they just distanced themselves for like, infinite period of time. And then, when I got remarried, some people, because especially, the culture I come from, I was born in Pakistan. People don't see that. They think it's very abnormal. And
Yeah.
because we are not very aware as a culture, so it's very hard for people to digest that someone can do that. Um,
Right.
so I did end up again losing all the single friends, the
Yep.
single mom group that I have created, because in their mind, unconsciously, I don't belong in that category. So, they distance. Slowly, they stop responding to your meeting request and all that. But also, be ready, like for anyone who's watching this, and if you're thinking about getting remarried, be ready to lose your family. It's very possible that your siblings, your parents might not realize or understand. I do have conversations with other, women on the same journey, and they'll be like, my family doesn't even want me to get remarried. They are giving me such a hard time. They're like, why do you need to get remarried? So just keeping in mind, there's no retirement when it comes to human
Yep.
experience life till the end, and part of
Yeah.
experiencing life is growth. And a new relationship does bring growth. And I chose to go that route. I did, lose a good chunk of my family. My mom, I would say, is the only one who really stayed with me. She just said, like, Ali, I have no idea what you have gone through. I have no
Yeah.
idea how you're doing it, but I am right here next to you. So I had her full support. And to be honest, Akina, even if she would have said that I don't understand what you're doing, I would have still done it without her support. Because I think being a human, it's a very important, especially being a parent, it's a very important we become an example for our kids without
Right.
worrying about what the society is thinking about us.
True.
I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful that I have the privilege that my son saw. If something hurts and doesn't work out, you can walk away with so much love and kindness, but you can
Right.
also attract something that will be so beautiful. And right now he
Very
gets to see the love between, me and my husband. He's changing. His behavior towards me is becoming more expressive, because that is what's seeing. So as I see this beautiful new family evolve, um, I'm just so grateful that I did go for it and he get to experience something so beautiful.
Wow, beautiful, Alia. And the fact that you mentioned about your mother, I think, our mothers are just, those nurturers in our lives who really and truly, beyond anybody care about us. So that connection always remains. That's something that, I can just say, for a fact. So, and the very important thing is that at least if you have even, one of your parents trusted you, right? You feel like you're doing the right thing, no matter if the world is against you. But if you feel like, if you see that, okay, even one of your parents is supporting you, so you feel like, okay, at least I'm not doing something wrong. I'm still on the right side. So the fact that your son has also, accepted this new relationship, and is of course enjoying the way you said he's become more expressive now. I think it's a very good growth for your son as well. Okay. What about if we talk about how does being a single parent affect one's emotional well-being? uh, how else does this affect one's emotional well-being, Alia? Like even when it comes to handling house responsibilities, financial responsibilities, also taking care of the child like by yourself without any support. How does this work? What do you think? What are some of the challenges?
I think there's challenge at every point when you're a single parent. Like, something that you might not even think about. Let's say it's, 10 p.m. and you ran out of sugar. You can't just, get yourself up and run to the store and get it because your child is sleeping.
Right.
If someone is there, they can be there while you go run that errand. Like those small things, they do add up. But I think one of the biggest thing I learned in through this journey is trusting myself, trusting our creator, trusting life, trusting people, trusting that financially it will work out. I never had to trust to that level because um, I went through divorce during pandemic, so I know I cannot leave house. My son is, in virtual school, so I need to find something that I can work from home. So that requires a
Mm,
lot of trust. So this is a
trust.
journey of trust, and we can never do it alone. I don't recommend anyone doing it alone. Definitely find some help, find some support. And as you were mentioning earlier, that even if my mom supported, so I felt, good about it. The kind of growth I have gone through, because that is the work I do. I am one of those, I would say, unique people in the world. Even if no one would have supported me, I was still fine.
You'll
But that
still do
is,
it,
I
yeah.
would say that is how God blessed me. He was like, I won't make it that hard for you. I'll give you, like, a little bit of support. But for people who
Absolutely.
don't go through that healing journey, they don't go through that self discovery, that connecting with the deeper part of themselves, they're a hot mess. They stay very small. They stay in that unhappy, miserable place just because other people are not happy. So when we are going through an emotionally difficult time period, I think we want to make it normal to get help, and don't
Yeah.
expect that you have to do it on your own. And there's so much help available. There's unpaid help available too, so everyone can get some kind of help. I think the most important thing to realize it, every challenge that would come, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, like, I have been through moments where I was so sick, but I still had to take care of my child, or we both were sick, and like somehow I have to take care of both of us. um,
Yeah.
as we are going through that, remembering that this is not how life would be forever. You
Right.
can have a different life. And in all honesty, I had to work so hard that, Alia, your life can look different. And once I had that vision, I just kept focusing on it, kept focusing on it. And right now I'm living that vision.
Beautiful, really. I admire you for this, Alia. And the way you said, not everybody has that special, unique, trait or quality in them to go on in life, knowing that they've made the right choice for their own mental peace. Like, you know, it's very rare. If you think that, you're at mental peace, your kid is happy, you're happy on the inside, your inner soul is happy, then I think that's what should matter. Other people's opinions should really not disturb your mental peace. I think that mental peace is really, really important. So I, would definitely agree with you on that. Just do what you think is right. We are not here to please people at the end of the day. We want to live our lives. We've got our own, everybody has their own priorities and responsibilities really to look into. We've got our own family commitments, and at the end of the day, it's that beautiful relationship that you have with your God, that trust, that tawakkul in your God, that at the end of the day, no matter in whatever situation you are in, God is there for you. He has your back. And if you really ask sincerely for any sort of help or assistance, God sends that assistance to you in the most beautiful of ways, right? So that is a very important thing as well. Yeah,
I
go
wanted
on.
to share just one quick thing. When it comes
Yeah.
to making that decision, whether to get a divorce or get remarried, we want to be right. We want to make the right decision. We put so much pressure on ourselves. We ask like 10 people's opinion, is it the right thing to do? The truth of this life experience is there's nothing right. Like, instead of fighting that right and wrong battle, when we are willing to be wrong, that is when magic happened. When I did file for my divorce, I took my case back, and then after a year I filed again. I
Oh,
told myself, like, before walking into the lawyer's office, I told myself, I was like, Alia, this could be the biggest mistake of your life. Are you ready to make the biggest mistake of your life? And I said, yes, I'm ready to make that. So I walked into it. This could be the biggest mistake I am making, but let's see what happens. And as the
yeah.
days progressed, as, like, the single parenthood started and my son was just with me, I started seeing him become so happy. I became so happy. His dad became a happier version of him. And I was like, okay, so that was not a mistake. So the same people who had an issue after a year or two, they were like, yeah, your kid is doing so much better, like, now than he was doing before. I
Or
applied the same rule when I wanted to get remarried. I again sat with myself and I was like, Alia, this could be a mistake. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to make a mistake. I'm willing to be wrong. That, someone will say, like, see, we told you so. I'm willing to go through that because I
mm,
trust myself, because I will be okay no matter what happened. I think when we take that pressure off, we generally end up making the right decision for us and for our family. Because when we put that
abs-
pressure, am I right or am I wrong? We are thinking about other people. We are not really thinking about ourselves. We want to just get
very true.
approval from other people. When we are
Absolutely.
willing to be wrong, we end up doing things that are good for us and good for our children.
Very true. Absolutely. As I said, let's stop with the people pleasing thing and, not looking into others' lives and comparing ourselves to others. Like, I wish I could be living the life that they're living, and whatever everybody else is doing, I should be following the same trend or whatever. No, everybody has their own unique life and journey. And at the end of the day, we really need to see what works best for us, and for our family. So I think that is very important. Okay, last thing, Alia, is that what advice would you give to other single parents considering entering a new relationship or forming a blended family?
So, one of the things that has helped me, one, is talk to your kids. Do not keep them, like, there's a lot of guilt and shame that, oh, I want something for myself. When we can show our kids, I want something for myself, we give them permission for them to want something for themselves too. Otherwise, my son would have grown up and he would carry the burden of all the sacrifices I made for him. I didn't get remarried because of him. He was going to carry all that responsibility energetically and not be a happy adult. So instead of doing that, showing to our kids anything is possible. You can want and desire things for yourself, because that is human nature. That is okay to have. And when I am
Yeah,
so full of, love and joy, I can be a much better mom than when I am, like, sad and sappy and going through a miserable story in my mind. But the
right.
second piece is, just to overcome the hump of, like, oh, will this person be same as the last one? Will I have to again go through divorce? Like, to get over all those, just focus on what is it that you can add to the relationship. What is it that you have that you want to share with someone? When we stay in the energy of sharing and not in energy of what this person can do for me. For example, some people, they're like, oh, I need someone to financially support me. Let me look around who can financially support me the best. I personally don't suggest that kind of energy, but look at it, what is within me that I can give to someone, and who am I meeting who's ready to receive that? If we
Very
just
true.
keep that advice in mind, it's so much easier to go through this. I can tell you, I have so much love within me. That is the work I do. I give all that love to me, I give it to my son. I wanted someone who I can share that love with. I can nurture that person. And every
Yes,
time I met with someone, I was just looking for it. Is this person receiving my love? Are they ready to receive my love? And then finally, I met someone who was ready to receive that love. So we have a beautiful connection where I'm sharing, he's receiving, he shares, I receive. So everything else melts away, just being in that energy of sharing. And also, we attract the person who's looking for somebody to, share with too, because like attracts like.
absolutely. Wow, you said it so beautifully. I think people usually miss out, on these inner qualities that are so much more, far more important. Like these are our core, I don't know what you call it, like attributes that make us us. Like that identify and shape our true, identity, rather than focusing on materialistic aesthetics. one should focus on what are some of the inner qualities that one can give to the other person, as you said, like, love, being affectionate, being empathetic, and being a compromising person, being all those things that probably this person did not get from their previous relationship. So it's so important to add that as an ingredient into your relationship, and also to receive those things that you did not get in your first relationship or your previous relationship or whatever. And I think that's what makes the relationship even more beautiful and stronger, because now you both know what you went through and where was the lack, and now you're filling in those gaps, both of you together. So I think it's even more beautiful. So yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Anyways, thank you so much, Alia. So we had Alia Jamal, the love coach, with us today on Youth Matters, and it was so nice to sit and talk this out with you, Alia, because this is such a taboo topic that people really don't like talking about, and I think it's so important because it's something that is becoming common, is common, just that people don't talk about it due to our culture, due to our society's mindset and everything. I think it's something normal and natural. It happens. Everybody has a different life story, everybody has a different path, and we just need to accept and go with the flow in life. So I want to thank you for being with me on today's program. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly enjoyed this conversation and contribution. Thank you so much, Sakina.
Thank you. Thank you to all our viewers for tuning on today's program. And please make sure to like today's program and to give us a thumbs up. And please keep sharing it to as many friends and people as whoever who needs to really listen to this conversation, so that we can break the generational trauma, or the chained thoughts due to our culture or society or background or whatever. And we can spread a lot of positive love around, to strengthen good bonds with each other, inshallah. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is your host Sakina Habib signing off. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.